Ok, vamos a finalizar el día 3 del Hardcore 2024. Ok, Seminario del Castillo, día 3, parte de la tarde, diciembre 2024. Empezamos.
Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. That's how the model's supposed to work.
Es así como debió funcionar. Y es así
And this
como
particular
el
group is
modelo
the only one
funciona.
that's done it
Este
like that.
grupo particular lo ha hecho
Throughout
así. Y
31 years, we've got some guys
así
that have
como en
exited.
31 años,
I think the
muchos
most
tipos
anybody's
han
exited
salido.
is 7
Y
times.
Lo más
Since
que
I
alguien
started
ha
it
salido
in
es 7 veces, que comenzó en los
And
90.
he was a guy in his
Y era el tipo
late 20s.
que estaba
And
tarde en los años
now he's
20,
out.
en sus 20 y ahora
Going
salió.
around someplace
Ahora
in the
tiene
yacht someplace. If
lugar,
I had said that he had
yates
10
y
times
diría
in him,
que
he would have
estaría
done 10.
10 veces.
But when he was 27 and I said,
Pero
you got 7 deals in you,
tienes 7 tratos.
and he exited 7 times.
Y
So
él
now
salió
he's
7
kind of
veces.
sarcastic.
Así
He
que
says,
él
why do you only see
sarcásticamente
7
dice,
there?
¿por qué usted dice 7?
And I had a hangover. How the fuck do I know? I said 7.
Estaba borracho, yo
I have no rhyme or reason why I said 7, but you can do it. And some guys just stick right back in the saddle and continue. And of course now we've got 4 or 5 individuals that are building conglomerates and they want to leave the legacy that their kids or grandkids or whoever. But there's no end. You know, when I told Rick Scott healthcare, I was very, very much up to date with financial information. It was 35 years ago. And I'm now even more now. I have a stockpile of information, and not that many things have changed. The only thing that's changed in the financial world is crowdfunding. I mean, really, there's roughly speaking, there's 41 financial systems. I told you after the first seminar, you're going to be the conductor, but you only need 2 or 3 of the arrows in your quiver. Okay? Crowdfunding, although I've never used it, I've got kids that have used it, but you don't have to be a financial wizard. You don't have to know all this stuff. And he's done it. Bricks and mortar, so to speak. It's not a bricks and mortar company, but he's done it bricks and mortar from the base, and he's done it right. Had some luck, a lot of hard work, and he is where he is, and that's where he should be. Although he should be ahead of the game, and he's even said that. Even with Corona in the middle, he should have done more because we've got other guys that did 20, 30 deals during the same time frame. And I'm not just because you're in Canada and going away, but I mean the guys that are more central to financial centers. And you're not one of those in the financial centers. Okay. Understand the complexities and the ups and downs of the market, and there's the right time to buy, but it's difficult to catch a falling knife. I'm better at calling tops of markets than I am bottoms of markets, because you don't go broke taking a profit, and that's normally at the top of the market. And in my judgment, that's why people sell a third of the stock and a third of the Bitcoin a few weeks ago. But I mean, this is how the machine is supposed to work. Exactly how it is described. You just happen to be in the audience and come back after 4 years. A lot of the guys don't come back. And a lot of the guys that were several of those guys up there are gone. They have nothing. They've sold everything, and they're running around with their third or fourth or fifth, in one case, sixth life, with, bimbos, not their grandchildren bouncing on knees, and their 200 yachts, okay? Then other guys are just working and grinding until they drop. I'll be at that end of the continuum, working and grinding until I drop. But he's a great example, and he happens to be sitting here. And I love it when the Viking bitches go to hardcore. That was the end of October, early November, right? Eso fue al final de octubre. Yes.
So that guy that has exited 7 times, did he stay in the same industry?
No.
Completely different.
No. The first 3 times were healthcare. The 4th time he tried to build a conglomerate and failed, but he actually made money.
trató un
The
conglomerado y
fifth time he
falló.
went into
Pero salió y hizo money, hizo dinero.
pharmacy,
La quinta
still
vez,
healthcare.
farmacias.
The next time he went into
También
transportation.
Luego en
Rolled
transporte,
up
logística.
independent cab companies. And then Uber
Armó
busted his
plataformas
balls
independientes de
when
taxi
Uber
y
came
luego
out. You know,
Uber
he made
odió
money,
cuando
but not
salió.
like he thought he was going to.
Hizo dinero,
And then
pero no
the
como
seventh
pensó
time,
que iba a ser.
he
Y luego la séptima
did the death roll-up, mortuaries,
hizo el tema de
crematoriums,
crematorios,
and that's where he left.
mortuarios,
He left.
y es ahí donde
He
dejó.
phased out, as he says, right at the bottom,
Pasó
coming
por
being
todas las
dead, the
fases.
death roll-up.
Al
But we
final,
got guys
el
rolling
tema
up
de
country
los
clubs.
muertos.
We've got guys
Pero tenemos gente
rolling up,
country clubs.
just like there's about 40 or 50 verticals in healthcare,
Así como hay
there's about
40
100
o
verticals
50
in the oil
verticales
and
en
gas.
salud, hay como
About
100
100.
verticales.
And construction, if you want to divide it up, and
En construcción,
from
si lo quieres
electrical
dividir,
to,
de
we've had guys try
eléctrico
to
a
do atomic power plants.
tratando
I mean, we used to throw in the 90s the yellow
plantas
pages
atómicas
they don't have anymore.
en los 90
Throw it on the
tiramos
floor,
las páginas amarillas que ya no
and
existen,
whatever page it
tiras
opened
al
up
piso.
to,
Lo que abría
that's what we
en la
rolled up.
página, eso era lo que juntábamos.
We used to do hotels, the kind of hotels that you sold, or the kind of hotels maybe that you
Hacíamos
guys own.
hoteles, tipo de hoteles de lo
You
que
know,
tú vendiste
and
o
we used
ese
to
tipo de
go
hoteles que
for
ustedes
family
tienen.
disputes.
Y también íbamos
And
de
if there
familia
wasn't
o
a family
buscábamos
dispute, they
familia
used to tease me, Peña can
disputas.
cause
Y
it.
si no habían disputas familiares,
Yeah.
decían, Peña puede causarlas. Me molestaban.
A lot of what? Car wash.
mucho-
Although the funding for
¿De qué?
car washes is dried up because
Lavacarros, sí. Aunque eso se ha secado un poco porque,
it just has dried up because the
porque se ha
medium-sized
secado por el tema
independent
de
private equity
las
guys have been rolling up car washes,
tamaños
for 15, 20 years.
medianos de capital
and,
privado han estado juntando
And not all car
lavacarros
washes are
en los 15,
as
20 años
profitable
y
as you
no
would think
todos
they would be.
lavacarros son
And now,
tienen
depending
ingresos como ustedes piensan.
in the
Y
South, where a
ahora,
lot of them are
dependiendo
illegal
de
migrants
del
working
sur,
in them,
donde
and they come and all of a sudden you've got
personas
car
ilegales,
wash that does
migrantes,
$25,000 a day,
vienen
and then the next morning you got no employees
de la nada hacen
because they've
25,000
all been
un día y
shuttled
luego no
off in
tienen
illegal
empleados
migrant
porque
buses.
todos se han ido
Um,
todos en buses
But I mean,
ilegales
you
de
name it,
migrantes. Pero
and you
les
can,
digo, nómbralo. Y tú puedes,
people that cut lawn,
la gente que corta
yeah,
grama,
the guys that own nurseries both for kids
los
and
que son
nurseries where they buy
dueños de
plants and shit like that.
nurseries o
I mean, you name it.
cuidadores de niños,
And,
cuidadores de plantas.
and a lot of these, they don't have a website. A lot
Y
of these,
muchos de estos no tienen un sitio web, muchos de
they
estos
keep their cash in the cigar box.
mantienen su efectivo en
The
la
mobile
caja
home
de
parts
cigarros,
is still a good roll-up.
las
Not necessarily at his end of
las
the continuum. His are more
casas
profitable.
de carros.
You know. But they eat
Parque de
cats and
carros.
dogs and shit on his,
Es,
and even babies.
pero
Parking
se
lots.
comen perros,
Parking
gatos,
lots.
incluso bebés.
That's another low overhead.
Estacionamientos,
Hire
parqueaderos.
illegal
Es otro
aliens,
tema
and they
de
live in a fucking hut right on the parking
bajo
lot.
overhead.
So,
Hay tres
I know
migrantes
his
ilegales
model.
que viven ahí. Y
I'm not saying they don't have big margins,
yo conozco el
60,
modelo.
70%
No les digo que
margins.
no tienen buenos altos márgenes.
but there's a headache that
60%
goes
de margen.
along with it, which you know the
Pero hay
headache because you're doing it. I've
dolor
seen
de
the headache
cabeza
from
y tú
afar.
sabes
We
ese
didn't look
dolor de
at those
cabeza.
kind of,
Yo he visto
mobile
dolor de
homes.
cabeza de lejos.
The,
No buscamos ese tipo de,
but it was a great
Parques.
business. It still is a great business.
pero
Did I answer your
buen
question?
negocio. Todavía es un buen negocio. Respondí tu
Yes, and is the Iron Lung guy
Sí.
up on the
Y
wall of
si
fame?
el
Yes.
tipo de
Not an iron lung, no. He's not in an iron lung.
pulmones de hierro está en la pared, sí, pero no está con su respiradero
He's skinny. At the end, he was skinny, just like you.
de metal.
At the end,
Al final estaba delgado,
they
así.
couldn't find a mass small
final.
enough for his head.
No podían encontrar una
There's no flesh
máscara
on it anymore because he's
tan
deteriorated
chica
down enough.
para su cabeza, no tenía piel,
He could have been your
estaba
brother.
bastante deteriorado.
Now
Pudo
that
haber
I-
sido tu hermano, ahora que te veo.
But actually, you look more like
Pero
When we're rolling up,
actualmente se ve
cemeteries.
más como cuando estábamos
And,
juntando cementerios.
every mortuary worth of shit has got a cadaver.
Cada funeraria tiene un tipo de cada...
You could be dual purpose.
Podrías estar eso.
No, the Ireland guy is not a
Haciendo
guy.
eso. No, el
He
tipo
took his
de
bar mitzvah picture.
pulmón de acero.
To remember not his
Sí,
Ireland.
tomamos la foto de bar mitzvah para recordarlo.
You gonna say something?
¿Tú ibas a decir algo?
Criteria for what?
Criterio para
Okay.
qué. Ok.
Well, I mean, laser beam focus.
Bueno, les digo,
First,
enfocado
laser
como
beam
rayo láser.
focus
Primero,
longest, win the most. And
enfocado
remember another thing.
rayo láser.
When he said it's
Y
$4 million
enfocado
bonus, etc.
lo
Maybe
más
think of something
tiempo.
else.
Y recuerda
You don't
cuando dijo
mind
de
eating
los bonos de 4 millones,
last as long as
etcétera.
you eat most.
Ustedes no les importa comer tarde.
Now, his board and his
Si comen
situation
más. Ahora, su junta directiva y su
is a
situación
little too democratic for my liking.
es un poco muy
Because
democrática
no
para-
good deed goes unpunished.
porque
I've been doing
ningún
this 54
Esto
years
bueno.
next month.
pasa sin
No
castigarse.
good deed
He hecho
goes
estos
unpunished.
54 años en el próximo ningún
And I've seen-
mal gesto pasa sin ser
Not,
castigado.
not
Y he
dis-
visto
a little dissimilar to what he's talking about,
No.
but it's a little too
algo muy
democratic.
similar a lo que él está
Otherwise,
hablando, pero
otherwise, there's no
muy
need
democrático.
for a major shareholder
si
plan
no, no hay
if everybody was going to be
necesidad para algo
Alice in Wonderland shit, which you kind of
amigable
described.
para el accionista mayoritario, como Alicia en el País de la
Just
Maravilla,
as the
pues,
assholes didn't sign the papers
así
for
como
3 years,
el
like you heard.
morón que
And I
firmó
mean,
los papeles por 3 años.
They went
Y les
camping,
digo,
they went fishing, they went
se fueron
snorkeling, the board
haciendo
members.
camping,
You know,
fueron a pescar, hacer
And
snorkeling
then-
con la junta directiva. Ustedes
He
saben.
gets ill,
Y luego,
but before that, her
Se
husband's
enferma.
deployed.
pero antes de eso,
What kind of chicken she's trying to do it when
esposo
her husband's deployed.
lo manda fuera
And then when she gets ill. And they wouldn't have
Luego ella se
called
enferma.
that guy
y no
To
la
bring him
hubieran
into the
llamado
loop if they didn't
para
think
traerlo
that there was going to be some chance
a
of a positive
informar si
answer.
no pensían que había algún tipo de cambio positivo.
You know.
Es que ya sabes,
No, everybody loves her. I can attest to that
no,
just from
todo el mundo
my last
la
social
ama. Yo
engagement.
puedo ser
Ah.
testigo por
She's
el
vibrant, she's very
último evento
articulate.
social que tuvimos.
Uh,
Ella es muy
good
vibrante,
looking.
muy articulada,
The
se ve muy bien.
everybody wants to do this for or that for.
Todo el
You know,
mundo
in my
quiere
my generation,
esto,
guys
lo
only
otro.
want to do that because
Yo
they want to fuck it.
digo,
It's a
mi
lie.
generación
You know.
puede hacer algo.
Only since that party,
Es-
she says, I think you're right. You know,
Apoyar,
I said, what are you living in the
porque
fucking? What is,
esa es
is
la
this
única
Disneyland?
parte.
Before they start serving alcohol? What was wrong with you,
Piensa
young
que
lady?
esto es Disneyland
I
antes
mean,
de
but people, you know,
servir alcohol.
when they're given the
Se siente
opportunity,
mal.
they all think
La
that
gente
he
cuando
did
le
it
dan
too
la
easily.
oportunidad, todos
Okay,
piensan
they all think, and I'm
que
using
hizo-
it,
que
he's
él lo
sick.
hizo bastante
They
fácil.
all think that this fucking mooch can do it. You
Él
know,
está sentado, si él piensa que este mocoso
somebody with some real
lo hizo,
brains
coño,
got behind this,
alguien
with some real
con
capital
mejor cerebro,
got behind this. We ought,
alguien
we
con
ought to
mejor
do
capital detrás,
what he did with
podríamos
pale in
hacer
complexion, what we can do.
lo que él hizo.
These are the thought processes to
lo
go through.
opacaríamos
And
con lo que
especially not in
nosotros
his case,
podemos
but in the
hacer.
case that we saw in the webinar,
Ese es el pensamiento
no
de
fucking
ustedes.
document.
No en el caso
And
de
they didn't, and I,
pero en
you
el
know,
caso
they're not signing those documents for a reason.
del webinar que no habían documentos y en donde estamos
'Cause nobody's getting paid.
una razón. Porque nadie está haciendo
Intercompany's worth a
pagado
lot of money.
y hay
So I,
compañías con
you
mucho
know,
dinero. Así
when I
que
was with him and asked his people, Costa Grazia, so
cuando estaba
Mr. Peña,
trabajando
and I
con
was dealing with the
la
Vatican,
gente
then
nazi,
he fucked me.
Costa Grazos,
But
Sí,
the
Peña
Vatican,
estaba tratando
he said that
con
I
el
know that
Vaticano.
it was a bit. I'm a
Me dijo,
wannabe
con el
altar boy. I told you
Vaticano.
that. And you know,
Yo-
when I kissed the
yo
cardinal's
quiero-
ring and
quería ser un
wound
niño
up
de
being a
altar y
fucking pervert,
besar el
thief and a half.
anillo del cardinal.
The no good deed goes unpunished.
Quería ser un pervertido y un
And
ladrón, y
I got fucked,
pero ningún
not literally,
buen gesto pasa
but
sin
could
ser
have gotten
castigado.
fucked real literally
A mí me
from these
castigaron,
guys
pero pudieron haber podido
there at the Vatican.
estos
Bank.
tipos
Still do, I'm sure.
que trabajaban
But I mean,
ahí en el
I don't
Banco
believe
Vaticano,
in the
y
tooth
todavía
fairy.
trabajan ahí.
I don't
Y no
believe
creo
in Disneyland until they start
en el
serving
hada de
alcohol.
los dientes, no creo
You can buy a drink now.
Disneylandia hasta que comienzan a
Disney
servir
World,
alcohol.
whatever. Okay, I
15
just don't
años
believe that.
atrás.
You know, I hear stories
Yo no creo eso.
about the goodness of people,
Muchas historias
I hear more stories in Canada about the goodness of people. But I've been there, and I chair 3 fairly big companies, and I know, and I don't want to say the name, but you know the guys I'm talking about. And I said that I just don't trust it. There's something not right. There's something, I don't know what it is, and maybe we'll never find out. But, you know, just be careful. That's all I say. Be careful. But there's a reason why we made it shareholder-friendly work. And even though I used to say it 30 years ago, I mean, when I say nobody listened, I mean nobody listened. But then about 10 or 15 years ago, they started listening more. And of course, then we had more cases of them trying to take the company away, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you know, we were paying pretty close attention to her when she was up there because, you know, it happens. And it, I used to say, as Costa Gracias used to tell me, and it always happens in the best of families. And he meant sarcastically, your family. Because Onassis is a family company. It was 40 years ago when I was there. It's not anymore. And so, you know, we had cousins and uncles vying, and the biggest fight was over Christina Onassis' trust, who was going to run the trust, was it a stepfather, blah, blah, blah. And it happens in the best of families. And for sure it happens in families like we came from, the worst of families. But getting back to the question, is it greed? I think it's more power. Like the guy from Costa Mesa who paid himself $600,000 a year for umpteen years, then went to jail 30 months or some shit. You know, and he was a legend all the while down to Cuernavaca, where he came from. You know, he was a kingmaker. You go to work for Costa Mesa Council, you make $100,000, you don't even have to speak English. Cuernavaca. Is that where you're from? Okay. She's probably part of that stealing bunch. Okay. But getting, it's a combination of greed and power. You know, if you never made any money and all of a sudden you're making, or you see on paper you're worth 3, 4, 5 million, whatever the number is. You know, and the good news is he's talking about exit. So they can, you're not there for 40 years. I'm sure some, well, I'm not sure of any, but I'm more sure that you were there for the long term. There's a higher probability something bad might be conspired with the guy. But he's got a reasonable thing. What's that? Maybe that's 2, 3 years, whatever the number is. And they realize that money. Now, if you try to exit and for whatever reason, Allah forbid, that it's not successful, I take a closer look at, you know, how you guys. And the best way to suck in a young kid is to pay him a bunch of money. And they did exactly that. You said God. I think was the word you used to describe it a few minutes ago. But the hundreds of millions it's worth, it's really should be all yours. I'm not putting seeds to stir the pot of shit. But, and you're not the kind of, well, maybe my personality, and I told you hostile takeover, I fought off the Oklahoma, and I brought all the advisors, all the shareholders, the major shareholders in, and I said, the milk has been sweet from this shit that you sucked on these past 14 years. And you almost just lost because you got fucking sloppy. I built your 3 girlfriends' houses in Cuernavaca. I built your stepmother's or your bastard daughter's house in Sydney. And I went down the line, every fucking one, 45, 50 people in the room. And you almost sucked it till it was done. Because you almost got me thrown out. And that's fucking not going to happen. I fired 6 or 8 right there. Boom, 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 boom. Security, escort them out, take their keys, their cars, everything. And then we became major shareholder friends. Because I wasn't. Because I had to listen to a lawyer, well, you got so many shares, Dan, and your ex-wife, and your this, and your cousin, and the bastard child you had in Cuernavaca. I mean, you got enough shares to fight off anything. Wrong. They threw me out, and I was the biggest shareholder. Had 60%. How did that happen?
me sacaron y yo era el accionista mayoritario.
60% of a public company, and they threw me out.
¿Cómo coño?
How the fuck did that happen?
60% de una empresa
So when I tell you
pública
this
y
shit,
me
kids,
sacaron.
I'm
¿Cómo
telling you,
coño
I know
esa
what I'm
mierda
talking
pasó?
about. Steve Jobs got thrown the fuck out under the
Así que
bus.
cuando les digo esta
The
mierda,
largest shareholder.
les digo, yo sé de qué coño.
I can go down the motherfucking list.
Steve Jobs
So
lo
you
sacaron
are going to fight him out better than me?
debajo del bus. El
I don't think
accionista
so.
mayoritario.
You going to fight him out better
Puedo
than Steve
sacar la
Jobs?
lista.
I fucking don't think so.
Así que ustedes
They're going to eat you
van a
for
pelear
fucking
mejor
lunch.
que yo.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Ustedes van a
And
pelear
they make
mejor
him eat
que
your
Steve
scraps.
Jobs. Yo no creo
The scraps of your body.
que puedan hacerlo. Se los van a comer por almuerzo.
No good deed goes
Y
unpunished.
luego van a hacer que él se coma las sobras.
And for the kids,
Ningún buen gesto.
if you're not religious, you got to
pasa
get religious
sin
and give
ser
your soul to
católico.
God because, you know,
Y para los
the
niños,
odds of you surviving this kind of shit is slim and none and slim left town.
si no eres religioso, tienes que ser religioso
Okay,
y
that's not from the
entregarle
diatribe for
tu
YouTube.
espíritu a Dios, porque
Go fuck yourself.
las
Christmas
probabilidades
Eve.
de
Merry
sobrevivir
Christmas.
esto son muy mínimas. Muy mínimas. Suficiente diatriba para YouTube. Vayan a joderse. Feliz Navidad. Fin del día 3.